Every year, over 100,000 people make their way to the Boundary Waters, making this 1 million acres of winding rivers, natural forests, and interconnected lakes the most visited wilderness in the United States. This highly restricted area doesn't allow motors or buildings, making this land appear as if it's untouched. Oh, and the fish.
It's one of the world's premier fisheries for freshwater fish.
There is, however, a controversial mine proposed to operate along the border of the wilderness.
It's really exciting for our area. We have a third of the nation's copper in this deposit.
Wherever they do this, they always pollute, sometimes catastrophically.
To bring awareness to the debate, we decided to spend 4 days in the wild without packing any food, and rather eating fish, scavenging, and living completely off the land. After you watch this, be sure to watch our video specifically about the controversial mine.
On a frigid morning in October, we said goodbye to society and sustenance. Last piece of not fish food. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Game plan is we're gonna eat only what we catch for 4 days in the Boundary Waters Canoe area.
And we don't have anything to eat with the fish. Yeah, we're good.
No pasta, no granola, no hot dish, nothing. We filled the extra room in our bags with camera gear and set out to live completely off the land.
Starting now. There we go. All right, we're 3 seconds in. I'm hungry. Got all the necessary permits. After finalizing the permits, we set out towards the first lake. In no time at all, we were out on the right side of the water. Here, there's really only one way to get around.
I'm pretty sure there've got to be more canoes per capita in Ely, Minnesota than any other community in the world.
Really? You think so?
Hands down, absolutely.
Huh.
There are canoes everywhere.
Before our trip, we met up with Jean, who makes wooden canoes by hand.
So why wooden canoes?
They're quiet in the water. You hear the water dripping off your paddle. They're gorgeous to look at while you're paddling. You take pictures of them when they're sitting on your campsite or move them around to get a little
it's a piece of art.
better angle. If you want to take one of my wood canoes, you'd be welcome to trade.
And just like that, we traded in our canoe for a sportier model.
So legend has it, somewhere off this portage is the last permitted building in the Boundary Waters. So we're gonna go find it.
In 1948, the government began buying up private land, which consisted of resorts and cabins, in an effort to extend the national forest. However, a few private homeowners refused to sell, so current law states that the homes must die with the owners and therefore not be passed down to the next of kin. Well, one of those owners at 91 years old is still alive, and based off a tip from an Ely local, we set off to find his cabin, the last in the Boundary Waters.
Just recent?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Our contact informed us that the cabin had not been visited in over 2 years,
It's like a legit lodge.
Should we pop the fridge?
so its condition was uncertain.
This thing is from like the 50s.
Yeah, does this count as scavenged?
It literally looks like someone was here yesterday.
Here's an outhouse. That is old school.
I want to see what year it is.
1981.
What the hell?
Oh my God! Look at this man.
After visiting the last cabin in the Boundary Waters, we continued paddling and were reminded of a poem that Jean had left us with.
But can't you hear the wild? It's calling you. Let us probe the silent places. Let us seek what luck betides us. Let us journey to a lonely land I know. There's a whisper on the night wind. There's a star agleam to guide us. And the wild is calling, calling. Let us go.
There are thousands of campsites in the Boundary Waters, and each has its own quirks. With no reservations available, campers must compete for the best spots. We happen to get an island site with a nice sandy beach.
Currently 3 hours and 19 minutes in.
Are you hungry?
Not yet.
I'm a little hungry.
Oh man. Okay, well let's get this camp set up.
All right, so we just got camp set up. I think we're like 5 hours in and I'm already pretty hungry. Hopefully we catch something, because if we don't get any food tonight, I just really don't want that to set the precedent for the rest of the trip. That's what I'm most worried about, so.
As we set out to fish, we recalled our conversation with Scott, who runs a guiding service, and it actually has his own YouTube channel.
To me, any fish makes it a successful fishing experience.
One fish.
One fish, but
One fish.
knowing you guys, I would definitely hope that you at least catch 5 to 10 to maybe 15 fish. I cannot stress enough though, when you catch one fish up there, fish that area a little bit longer, because there's usually gonna be more fish hanging out in that one spot.
What kind of fish are out there?
You get your walleyes, you get your smallmouth bass. You could catch a largemouth in some of the lakes up there. Northern pike. You could maybe target trout, lake trout, brook trout, anything like that.
On top of that, there are muskie, eelpout, sturgeon, sauger, whitefish, and an assortment of panfish.
Isn't it the worst when you just launch a worm?
Yes, Philip. Yes.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my God.
Gosh, that is a nice fish.
I'm so excited. I've never caught a big fish in my entire life. So this is exciting.
Do not let go of that thing.
Just put it on the canoe. I don't really want to hold it. Ew.
So like Scott told us, we fished that spot a little bit longer, and so we were fishing a little bit of ways from Philip and Harris, and they caught another fish. Let's see it.
Smallmouth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've literally never. That guy's good. Ooh. We're gonna eat good, baby.
Oh my goodness. Give me a 1/4 ounce jig head with some live night crawlers. A little walleye chop going on. Harris got something.
Here.
Oh yeah. Hey Wally.
Hey, what?
Nice.
That's good enough.
After our great successes fishing, we decided to head in for the evening and measure the fish.
Take me in, Captain.
13. It's next year's fish.
The Department of Natural Resources regulates the fish you can keep and cook in order to preserve a natural population in the waters. Unfortunately, Harris's walleye was 1 inch too small to keep. However, Philip's 2 fish were not only legally sized to fillet and eat, but also enormous, so we prepared to cook them. One pound of fish contains about 512 calories, 4 grams of fat, and 112 grams of protein. That's nowhere near what's needed to sustain ourselves, but it tasted so good.
It's actually really good. I was surprised.
12 hours and 37 minutes in. It's almost bedtime. We're having a nice feast of fish. We're gonna have a lot more time tomorrow to actually fish and scavenge, so should be as good, if not better. Hoping for that.
Turns out a few morning casts actually worked. Though we were hungry, we decided not to waste any daylight and hit the water in hopes of catching more fish. It's almost 2 o'clock and we haven't caught a single substantial fish. Thought I had something. It's just rocks. It's been like that all day.
Today's been a lot colder. It's been long. It's been a lot of day in the boat. It's really not anything to show for it.
I'm really hungry and I haven't gotten a bite today.
I'm genuinely concerned about today.
Today's probably hurt the morale. It's just been a sad day.
The whole team is pretty down right now.
I don't know how to fish.
I feel my body just saying, eat.
My stomach is growling. You hear that?
And the weird thing is, like, even if we could eat right now, it's not like I'm craving fish by any means.
The fish. What?
I don't know where William and Chris are.
Hey, I'm just counting on Harris and Philip to catch some fish today.
Yeah.
They're somewhere, hopefully catching fish.
I'm sick.
Can we go back now?
Yeah, I cannot mentally afford this. Alright, let's anchor up. Go sleep. We're gonna go back to camp, see if we can scavenge some things.
The Boundary Waters is the largest remaining area of uncut trees in the eastern United States. All of the firewood that we, along with all responsible campers, use is dead wood.
We had an unsuccessful day fishing. So, we're going to scavenge. Yeah, the whole scavenging thing would be a lot easier if we knew what we were looking for, really. We eat roots.
I mean, yeah.
This. Oh, a poo.
Oh, there's a big one right next to it.
Here we go. Some more edible mushrooms. So we're really off to a good start.
While Harris and Philip collected all of their edible mushrooms, William and I chopped wood to keep the fire going for warmth. Temperatures in the Boundary Waters range from 80 degrees in the summer to well below 0 in the winter. During this October trip, we dealt with sub-freezing weather every day, and nothing fixes that better than a nice fire.
You know, they say the more difficult it is to get there, the better it is. So I reckon once we make it through this forest, we'll have a big pot of raspberries.
I think raspberries are out of season.
Oh, look at this. Little snacks.
Dude, that doesn't seem good.
That looks poisonous. This one is huge.
Currently, only 2 states have declared a state mushroom: Oregon and Minnesota. There are over 5,000 species of mushroom in Minnesota, but only about 100 are edible. Lucky enough, we only came across the safe ones.
Alright, I have some goodies.
Well, we were a bit skeptical, especially because we forgot one of Scott's critical pieces of advice.
Before you head into the Boundary Waters while you still have phone service, researching some Minnesota edible plants, maybe even some mushrooms, just making sure that you have someone who either you have a picture of it so that you can correctly identify it and you know the signs. Otherwise, you're out there in the middle of nowhere, and if you eat a wrong kind of mushroom, it's going to be an ugly situation.
We decided to play it safe and cook the fish we caught earlier in the morning and head to bed early.
Today is the 64th day of the 32nd week. I've forgotten what it's like to be man. All I know is fish, and all fish knows is me.
I was frustrated and I was mad at this place, and that was all my fault. And today, things are gonna change, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Really, most of our day has been revolving around trying to get nutrients. And at the end of the day, we don't really know too much about the nutrients that's here.
So we had a tough day yesterday fishing. I don't think many of us can stomach fish at this point, so we're gonna go look for cattail and harvest the roots and make flour from them.
At the bare minimum, we can eat the roots pretty much raw.
I've never done this before. I don't know anyone that has, so it'll definitely be a new experience. We'll see if we can get it right, I don't know. As we prepared to scavenge for nutrients, we thought back to our conversations about the land that makes up the Boundary Waters.
Okay, guys.
Earlier, we met up with Paul Shirky, who owns a dog sled guide company on the edge of the Boundary Waters. Are they like desperately hungry?
No, they're just saying hi.
Paul, an explorer, has seen the farthest reaches of the planet but chooses to live in Ely.
I find it extremely cool that it's about 2,500 miles from here to the top of the world, the North Pole. And the only thing that lies between this lake and the hinge pin of the planet is a couple lonely strips of asphalt, the Trans-Canadian Highway. Otherwise, it's wilderness all the way.
I would say that, the Boundary Waters is kind of special in its own right, that you have all of this access to canoeable waters, hikeable lands that are, fairly, relatively untouched by humans.
I grew up just drinking the water out of the lakes, and I actually still do.
How off-grid is it?
Well, so, oh, excuse me here, let me turn off my phone.
We're talking about how it's off-grid and you take a call.
Well, of course, for the most part, you are disconnected from the rest of the world once you slip across that imaginary line into the Ark of the Covenant out there. I buzz on the notion that I'm living on the edge of the known world.
We're at the port edge. We're gonna get out of our canoes and see if we can find any cattails on foot.
Taking a small portage over to cattails, at least where we remember them. Hopefully there's enough to actually get a solid yield out of it. One, not disturb the environment. Two, have enough to eat.
So we just found cattails right here. A lot of them. So, gonna go harvest these babies.
The best thing is, if they're a little bit wet, you can put your hands in and kind of mush out the mud and get a feel for the roots around here. You can find like where the bulb is and then follow the roots out. So then when you pull them, up, ready to bring to the kitchen. I think we have enough to make at least something. We should be able to grind it down into flour and make a pancake or two. We can fish along the shore on the way back to camp, and maybe we'll have luck with that.
Oh yeah, baby, we're gonna round this corner. You don't need to paddle at all. Holy shit, it came right. Get the net, get the net.
Get the net.
It's all under stuff, sorry. Hold it, it's all lack. Make it in the tripod.
That is a ginormous fish. Yeah. Don't lift him up out of the water like that. Yeah, then just get that one in there.
Dude, nice. Should we go on to shore or something?
Go right there.
Won't hurt, honestly.
Let's do it because it's such a mess.
You got the weight of it.
This northern pike measured in at 34 inches, which in this particular bay, the DNR mandates immediate release. So we continued on.
You're kidding.
You did not put that on, did you?
No, I just caught 2 crawfish. You guys don't even understand this. Look at the 2 crawfish on here.
After another day fishing, we decided to head into camp and start processing the cattail roots into flour.
Yeah, this is string cheese.
You ever seen like wet mozzarella?
So basically what you do is peel the roots, soak it for about 5 minutes, let it dry, mash it into powder, and you got flour.
So they say.
Or so they say. Yeah, we'll find out.
If we successfully make a pancake, I'll be really happy.
I'm gonna be shocked.
Shocked, yes. Happy, yes.
Okay guys, we're 58 hours in 7 minutes. We're resorting to eating roots. Philip's giving up.
Seeing shapes. It's been drying for a long time.
How long have you been waiting?
Oh, we've been waiting about 4 days for this.
Is it good to go?
Stomp that stuff. Is that it?
Yeah.
Trying to separate the flour looking stuff.
I'm baffled, but this flour came out of these roots here, and we're gonna mix it with water and butter and make some pancakes. Pancake.
Doesn't look perfect, but
Pretty good.
no, you put a little. Ah!
Have you heated the pan?
I don't know if it's because I haven't had food in so long, but it's actually good.
That's really good.
It's actually good. Each piece is unique.
Doesn't
Each piece is unique.
It doesn't have one flavor. Each piece is so different. I think.
For us, it felt strange to harvest, prepare, and eat something straight from the ground. For others, this has been a way of life for thousands of years. Evidence of First Nations people and possibly Paleo-Indians, people who mastered the art of survival and sustainability, can be found throughout the BWCA. Ancient tools and markings have been uncovered throughout the area.
We're 70 hours and 50 minutes in. It's the last morning. We're breaking camp down, getting some coffee, taking one last breath of the air, and then heading back, getting some food. When you're living in a house or an apartment, you know, you could just go to your fridge and get a cheese stick or make an egg or pop some popcorn. But I feel like out here, at least for me, my experience has been like, okay, I'm not gonna eat if we don't catch anything. but there's no other option. There's no fallback. So in a way that made it easier knowing that there wasn't an easy alternative.
But it's impossible to fully express what this place is like on film. And maybe that's just how it's supposed to be.
I mean, every time the wind blows here, it sounds like 1 million people are turning out their bed sheets at once.
I think being here facilitates teamwork. You know, if you look at travel by canoe, you have motor up front and someone steering the back, and that's 2 people working together in unison to make the canoe move forward.
The water is what makes this place special. It's so peaceful, the scenery, but inside your body is like hard work and suffering. It's a weird contrast.
Every time you camp in and you sit at a site, you have a duty to make sure that that story gets told. And part of that story is cleaning up after yourself. Part of it is making sure you respect the wildlife. And overall, I think that's applicable to everything in life, in that you need to make sure that you're not the last page of the storybook.
Really windy day going back home. It's gonna be a trip.
1,000 lives I'll never know, born only to emptiness and cold. Where the ancient waters flow, felt grasses line the hills with gold.
Oh, that was nice.
Have you suffered, starved, and triumphed, groveled down, yet grasped at glory, growing bigger in the bigness of the whole, done things just for the doing, letting babblers tell the story?
So this is the final paddle.
Break the darkness of your spell. Suddenly the sound remains the same, softer than the star that shines past the eastern pines.
The simple things, the true things, the silent men who do things. Then listen to the wild. It's calling you. Let us go.
Alright, we're all packed up. Right out of the boundary waters. 76 hours and 55 minutes.
Stay for 5 minutes.
I think I can see that. I don't know.
It's a while. It's quite a long time. I have a sudden earth. That's about it, yeah.
We were depleted, mentally and physically. So we slammed the only food we had in the car, Chef Boyardee and Doritos. Our 4-day challenge was complete. Well, kind of. Really, we wanted to bring awareness to this perfect place and the issues around it, including a recent mining proposal that could bring jobs to the nearby town of Ely, but also may threaten the environment as we know it. Check that video out here, please subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments where we should explore next.